All right, now it is Sunday afternoon, July 29th. And we'll take a look at the flowers and some of the small little beginnings of tomatoes that are starting to show up. Some of these plants are doing okay, some not so much. If you've watched some of the other videos, you've seen where the better sunlight makes a big difference as far as tomato plants growing. All right, let's see what we have. We received quite a bit of rain last week, including some pretty heavy showers. So the flowers out here took a bit of a beating, but they've been coming back. Lots of new blossoms. And one lone daisy has come up. Oh, aren't those pretty? Down in the hosta here, you can see the little branch that's starting to come up that's going to have a flower on it. Excuse me. And those, I don't see them elsewhere in this plant. You can see a couple new pieces of growth down in there. So maybe the flowers will shoot up from these. You can see the hostas next door. They've been flowering for a while. So this one, maybe because I took a couple of sections off of it, has been slower. But it certainly has grown to its full potential this year. This tomato plant continues to get larger. Not really thriving, but it's surviving. Down in the vegetable patch, we actually have a pepper growing. The plant's not all that big, so we'll see what it does producing the pepper. And this one over here seems to have taken on the leadership role for the tomato plants out here. So we'll see. We'll come around to the other side. Over the top, and this one right here seems to be coming along, so maybe there'll be enough late season growth that maybe just given a long season they'll do okay over here. We'll see what happens. Go look on the deck, stop and show you briefly. I think those maybe are off the beech tree. I'm not sure, but it's some sort of nut, and we get a lot of them falling this time of year. They're just getting started, and they'll get more round. It's still a little flat right now, and the squirrels will take them, they strip them, and bury them to find them again in the wintertime, I think. With the rain, the blossoms came off those flowers, but you can see how they've grown right back in. And a couple little petunias at the end are sporting their new blossoms as well. I can't really say that the marigold has done as well. We'll see what happens with those. So this tomato plant, who has been the star all along, still does not show any fruit. I'm really not seeing the yellow blossoms here either. Interesting to see what happens. I'll move quickly to the back corner. I'm really enjoying this new bits of growth coming off here, up here, down in there. There, even you can see tiny little ones at the base. Lots of little places where they're starting to come through. So it'd be nice if this fills out. It may take another season, maybe two. Let's see what it does. Coming over to my struggling bushes. Now they're still showing, or they're now showing, tiny little bits of new life. Including down in here. And they're coming off in different places. A little bit closer to the trunk, as some of the further things have, or further branches have died off. But I consider that to be a good sign that maybe the roots are spreading out and the plant feels comfortable enough to create new growth, has enough energy. The hosta back here continues to do well. And even this one, which I didn't think would survive at all, has got new bits of growth down here close to the trunk. So perhaps. Now let's not come visit the tomato plants here. You can see several of the little yellow flower blossoms. I don't know if I'm getting in too close to the plant right now. But several places where those new blossoms are starting to show. Although I don't see any fruit on it yet, but blossoms are there. The tomatoes come next. And these plants, which are doing the best, lots of blossoms. Oh, and there we go. Down in here, two little pea-sized tomatoes started. More blossoms back there. And even a couple of blossoms down in here. On the next plant, some brand new ones. I don't see little pea-sized tomatoes yet, but I see yellow blossoms coming along in several places. Oh boy, up here too. And the last one, I don't know if you remember, about a month ago is when this plant decided it was going to survive and do well. See the yellow blossoms down in there? I don't know, I can't see from this angle. Maybe the camera can pick it up. Whether there's any tomatoes actually starting inside of those. But it looks like even this plant, which is much healthier than it was before. I mean, at one point it looked like this one. It just did not want to grow. And now look what's happened to it. The tiny bit of hosta I pulled and put in here seems to have adapted to having just several small leaves, which is good. It looks nice. Now we've got these red blossoms coming up from the grasses. It's always nice when the color shows up. Different times of the year, different things flower. And it's really starting to look nice. Coming over to the lily, we've had several flowers, but it might be about done flowering for the year. I see a couple of pods that haven't opened yet. Also seems to be a fern buried within it. We'll see what that does. I don't think I want to pull it out. Maybe that fern would be happy somewhere else. Coming over to these plants, this one has, it looks like three, oh, there's a fourth one. Tomatoes started on this plant. And, oh, down in here, pepper plant, I don't know, we'll see how that does. Tiny little tomato plant, still surviving. And over here, this tomato plant, let me come around the post. This is our biggest tomato so far. And you can see some more yellow blossoms here. So perhaps this tomato plant will produce more. Moved around front because it gets more light. More sunlight. Maybe that should help it thrive. The yellowing's probably from getting too much water. And we'll see. That's it for this week.